Okay, so yeah. Okay, so welcome everybody to this live Q&A session with Sathishkumar from Swachha Kaadyam, and he's the founder of Swachha Kaadyam. And before we start this Q&A session with him, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Satish. So Satish has done his post-graduation in rural management from IRMA and has been working with farmer cooperatives since his graduation. He has worked as CEO, COO of Dharani Corporation, promoted by Timbuktu Collective for 2 years, and then worked with Access Livelihoods as head of enterprise support services for FPOs for about 3 years. And then in 2020, he started Swachha Kaadyam with the twin motives of ensuring fair price to farmers and pure food for consumers at an affordable price. Swachha Kaadyam is working towards creation of a happy value chain where all players, farmers, employees, and consumers are happy not only in terms of value proposition, but also in terms of environmental consciousness. Besides being an entrepreneur, he is also a passionate teacher. He teaches at various institutions and B schools and also trains farmer cooperative staff and boards on business and marketing aspects. It's great to have you with us today, Satish. Welcome to this
Q&A
session. And I think right off the bat, we would love to know something about Swachha Kaadyam, the origin story, and how you ended up starting it.
Okay. So, hello everybody. So, Subha has just introduced. So we started. we registered in September 2020, in the peak of COVID. So probably when businesses were being found out. So we somehow started a business, and we started our operations in 2021 Jan. So precisely around 27 months. We are based out of Anantapur district in Andhra Pradesh. Anantapur is known for its arid, is known as an arid region, and it's one of the most drought-prone regions in the country. Though the climate patterns are reversing now, which I would explain at the later point in time today. As Subha introduced me, I come from the land of cooperatives, Anand, motivated by Dr. Kurian, and worked with FPOs for about close to 6 years of my career, largely in agribusiness, mostly in agribusiness, and a little bit in dairy as well. So I'm somewhere. I don't know if Kurian sir would come out of his grave and kick me out, but no doubt cooperatives they've always proved to be really helpful, but they come with their own baggage. So I thought I wanted to work with the farmers of this region, precisely Anantapur region, because I know the issues that farmers face here. So I wanted to work with farmers of this region, but in a non-FPO model, non-NGO or non-FPO model. So with this, I have 3 more co-founders, Mr. Vijay Bhaskar, Mr. Oblis, and Mr. Balaji. So 4 of us together started Swachha Kaadyam. Agri-value chain is kind of very complex, which we all know, and every stage of agri-value chain is overcrowded with issues. So 100 Swachha Kaadyams at every stage also cannot solve the issues. So I really, we really didn't want to get into each and every aspect of the value chain. So we kind of, we did some 6 to 8 months of groundwork, despite having a thorough understanding of this region and the farmers. For about 6 to 8 months, we again spoke to different farmers. We visited some of them. So as part of this, when we kind of funnel down the issues, 2 most compelling issues have come out. One, of course, is the agriculture credit, agri credit. The second one is the market linkages. So both of them, when we asked to rate, farmers largely were saying both of them are equally important. There is no credit, there is no starting point. Even if there is credit, if there is no proper linkage, all our effort would go in vain. And that's kind of a known factor. And then we thought, what is that we can do to begin with? It's not that we are kind of limiting ourselves only to a particular thing, but we thought we would take up that one issue. Let's work on that. Once we kind of make some sort of inroads where we kind of become confident, yes, a little bit of work has been done here, then we could take up the other part. So we really didn't want too much in our mouth to chew. So we took up the market linkages, which is where our strength is as well. Okay, so we thought of kind of going to farmers because some of them are actually doing organic farming and some of them are doing conventional farming. This is predominantly groundnut going belt with good number of farmers also growing millets. My two of my co-founders are farmers themselves. They come from farmer family. I don't come from a farmer family, but they come from a farmer family. So we thought of working on the market linkages. That is something that we can easily start up because we know like what is the delta that's actually how the delta is changing from farmer to the end consumer. Okay, how many players are there and what is the value that each player is carving out, and essentially what farmer is being left out. So we started with this intention of passing on at least 70 to 75 paisa consumers rupee to farmers. Okay, so that has been kind of our you say that one important goal right from day one. No matter, even if we are going to do it with 100 farmers, if we are going to do with 200 farmers, that is still fine. But let's make sure that all these farmers will get that 75 paise. Okay. So currently, I mean, like from our understanding, it was around 45 to 50 paise. Okay. Without imputing any transaction costs. If I take into account the transaction cost, which means essentially the cost that farmers incur to market their produce, may it be transportation, may it be other loading, unloading charges, okay, may it be that weighing difference and all these things, it would be even worse. So we thought this is something that we want to do, and this is not. I don't say that we are doing anything innovatively or out of box. We are doing the standard thing, but in a proper way, in an honest way, such that farmers get what they deserve. So even till date, we are not kind of giving them anything, you see, extra, which is something more than overwhelming. Okay, so we are trying to get pass on to them what they actually deserve. So if we are able to do this, then we would like to take on the next step. Then we would like to move on to the other aspects of the value chain. So with this intention, we started, I'm like 21. So our first season of procurement kind of perfectly merged with the second COVID wave. Okay, so 2021 summer. That actually kind of, in a way, it's a blessing in it was a blessing in disguise for us. Not many people, there's not much movement and not many people were going to villages to procure. So what we do is we visit farm gates, we do all our quality checking, and we lift the produce from farm gate itself, which means essentially farmer will not incur even a single paisa as transaction cost. Farmer has to harvest and just leave that produce in his or her field. So we'll go to that field and we'll lift the stock. Okay, so that those 2 months where even the movements were kind of very restricted and not many people were visiting villages and a lot of these things are happening, we kind of took advantage of that. So we thought, okay, this is kind of good time for us also. Let's go, let's take that risk. And that season we started with around 80 to 90 farmers from 3 villages. So slowly, season after season, we managed to increase the number of farmers with whom we are working. So that time, like current season, I think this year I can say it's around 250 to 260 farmers from 5 to 6 villages, which is kind of very, very, very small. Okay, but what we are happy is we have started moving in that direction. We know this is not going to be an easy journey. It's going to be a long and arduous journey, but yes, that beginning has been made.
Wow, that is great. So yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So whatever we procure, see, we have our processing unit in a leased space. So we have established required a plant and machinery. We understand, see, tradings will not leave us with any margins. And if we have to honestly pass on that benefit to farmers, simply trading the commodity would not help. So we thought of getting into value addition right from day one. We've been doing value addition of the commodities that we procure. We largely deal with organic staples, and little portfolios, a small part of our portfolio is conventional staples as well. But increasingly, we encourage farmers to take up organic farming. But there are farmers who still practice conventional farming. That is also fine. We procure produce from them as well, but 80% of our portfolio is from organic farming. So we do value addition, and you could see some products over here. Stick. Currently, we have around 45 to 50 SKUs, and we market them. And thing is, on the other side, see, general market practice and general market belief, or general market norm is also that organic is equivalent to a premium product. Okay, yeah, fine, I understand. Because of the costs involved in maintaining that value chain, it's slightly costlier, but it did not be as costly as it is getting in the market. So we also wanted to price ourselves in that bottom 5 to 10%, so that consumers will also get good food at an affordable price. I don't say that we are at the bottom rock. Okay, we are kind of giving it at a throwaway price. Okay, but still, I mean, like for example, our groundnut oil, it's priced around 360, 370 rupees. Okay, average market price is around 400 to 420 rupees. Okay, so basically the idea is to ensure that the number of organic consumers also grow. Okay, and that is very essential for farmers to take up organic farming. So if there is no market, then obviously there is very little that farmers could do. So Amul survived because there was a Bombay for Amul, and it has grown what it is today. So we always believe that it should be that market driven thing also. So that's why we've been very conscious in terms of our pricing also. So we make sure that consumers are also kind of happy with the price and the value what they get, as I said in the introduction. And at the same time, we make sure that 70 to 75 paisa. So last year it was hovering around 72. So probably by tomorrow we'll be able to know what is it we had passed on this year. And I'm sure it would be at least a paisa more than what it was last year. Yeah, this is a kind of what we are doing.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Satish. And I think just to give our listeners a little more detail about the kind of farmers that you work with. So could you tell us a little bit about the landholding patterns? Who are these kind of farmers, and in what capacity do they reach you or you reach them?
See, most of the farmers we work with are small and marginal farmers, and given the agroclimatic conditions over here, even if a farmer owns 10 acres, it's as good as owning 2 or 2.5 acres on the coastal belt of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so it's most of the cultivation happens on rainfed. Okay, very few. I'm like microscopic minority of them have irrigation facilities. Rest all of them they depend on rainfall for the irrigation. So largely around close to 92% of the total farmers that we work with own less than 1 hectare of land, and they largely grow millets and groundnut. A little bit of paddy here and there, but otherwise it's largely groundnut and millets. So how do they reach out to us? As I said, we started from the villages where our founders are from, those 2-3 villages. So it's kind of, it gives us a little bit of head start in terms of reaching out to the farmers. And up season after season, I'm like, as the word spreads, so it's not that easy to convince farmer, because see, all our transactions are bank transactions. Okay, we don't give out cash on spot. We take max of 72 hours, and we ensure that the amount gets transferred to their bank accounts. And we compete with the traders who pay in cash on spot. So it's very difficult to create the trust factor also. But with the people that we know, we started and the word started spreading. So now farmers kind of they kind of reach out to us. So our procurement in charge, his phone kind of keeps on buzzing for about 8 to 9 hours a day during this season. Okay, so within those 3-4 villages, again, I'm like, there are requests coming from other villages also, but we just wanted to make sure that we cover to the best of our abilities as many farmers as possible within this region. Then we slowly kind of geographically also expand ourselves.
Absolutely. Understood. And tell us a little bit about your team. How many people are there in your team, and what is the team up to?
We are a very small team. So three of the founders we work. Okay. Apart from it, we only have 3 employees, full-time employees, 2 women and 1 man. So basically, what we have, I mean, like more than a full-time team. So the women laborers who work here. So the processing processes also, we use mechanization only to the minimal extent, to the extent that it is required. So beyond that, we make sure that we use traditional methods to process. So on an average, close to 8 to 10 women on any given day will work in our processing unit. And during a procurement time, as procurement laborers, that we only here at least we only have to do with men. So 3 to 4 men will work. So if you look at that, I mean, like this year we had around 2,500 percentage of employment for women, and around 200 days of 250 days, I guess, of employment for men.
Okay.
So always, this is our full-time team is very small. Only 3 apart from us.
Okay, understood. And I think now we'd like to understand a little bit about, the role of credit in the entire enterprise, because you mentioned agri credit is so crucial to the work that you're doing. So what would you say about the role of credit in your operations?
Yeah. Our partnership with Rangde, this particular product, what we are working is kind of very different. So it's a post-harvest credit that goes to farmers. So for which we procure the produce, which means if this money is not coming out of, not coming from Rangde, we will not be able to procure the produce from our farmers, which is kind of the crux of the entire idea, that market linkages. Okay. So if today we procure, let us say, a produce worth 1 lakh. So 80,000 of that, 80% will come from Rangde. So it goes to the farmer directly, and then we pay 20,000. So the remaining part is what we pay, but this 80,000 we will repay for Rangde on behalf of farmer. Okay, so that's the product is all about. So which means essentially, if this money is not coming in, okay, we will not be able to procure. So I'm like, it's been a kind of what do you say, that very crucial lifeline for us in terms of procurement. So more the money that is coming from Ramde, more the farmers that we would be able to reach out to, and the more the number of farmers who could enjoy that improvised delta.
Right. And so you mentioned that at the beginning that you want to take it up to 75, 80 paise for the rupee that goes to the farmer. So how close are you right now to that figure?
So as I said, we are hovering around that 70, 72 paise.
77.
So that first step is kind of easy. And
Yeah.
from here, increasing every single paise in itself is a big challenge. So that depends on, see, as far as what we give to the farmers, that more or less is standardized.
Yeah.
But now in order to improvise on the delta, what we need to work on is the marketing channels.
Right.
Okay. So currently, we deal directly with the retailers. We don't go through that wholesale network. We sell to the retailers, and who in turn sell to the consumers. Okay. Still, there is good 25 to 30% margin that retailers charge. Okay. So essentially, the idea is to develop a kind of slowly increase that direct to D2C, direct to consumer portfolio. If we are able to crack that channel significantly with significant volumes and value, then we'll be able to reach out to that 80 paise. Otherwise, at 72, I think with little optimization and improvised efficiencies, we'll be able to hit 75 paise soon. I'm confident. It's a matter of another year's time, but from there it will be very difficult. If we really are able to do that 80 paise, I can certainly say that we have achieved something.
Okay, absolutely. And would you like to speak about the numbers that the Rangde partnership with Swachha Kaadyam has been able to achieve?
Okay. So our partnership started in 2022 Feb, which is like 1 year now, which means last Rabi is where we started engaging Rangde with our farmers. And then there was one Kharif and the ongoing Rabi. I can say it as 2.5 seasons. Even current Rabi is not even half. So two seasons plus the current season. So through Rangde, we were able to reach out to 144 farmers. The total sum of 144 lakhs, 1.44 crores has been dispersed directly to farmers from Rangde. And there is an equal, not equal, 20% contribution from our end, which is another 28 lakhs. So through the Rangde Farmers Network, we were able to procure produce worth around 1.7, 1.75 crores. So for 144 farmers, on an average, each farmer from Rangde got around 1 lakh. Neither side, this side, that side. Okay, and roughly from us around another 20,000. So besides this, what we procure out of our own funds, the total farmers that count has reached around 230, 235. Okay, so roughly 66% is coming through runway. The rest 33 we are managing from our end.
Got it. So for people who are joining us today in this session, if you have any questions, you can please use the chat box and you can put your question there. I can ask it on your behalf. Or just after this question that I'm going to ask, we will take a small break for your questions as well. So at that time, you can unmute yourself and directly ask your question. So Satish, I'd like to ask you, what are the trends or some specific insights you would like to share in terms of groundnut and millet farming? Any specific things that you would like to share from the field?
Yeah. So see, as I introduced Anantapur as that arid region and drought-prone region, um, last 2 seasons there's a dramatic change in this weather pattern, which is really disturbing not just us but farmers as well. So 2022 and 2021 and 22. In 21, initially there was the rainfall was about average this thing only, but during harvest there was excessive rainfall, which is both untimely and kind of beyond the expected levels. That has affected crop drastically. So with that fears, several farmers had backed out from cultivation. I mean, like growing crop in the Kharif. Generally, what they do is most of them go for cropping during Kharif and they leave their land fallow during Rabi. Only the ones who have access to irrigation will take up cultivation during Rabi. So half of the farmers, I'm quite sure, it would be even more than that, but at least 40 to 50% of the farmers, they chose not to go for cultivation during Kharif, expecting similar pattern, and unfortunately it repeated. So 2022 also we had untimely rains during the harvest, both during both the months of October as well as November. So per se there was very little crop, and even the crop that was coming out was not up to the quality, and then largely got drenched. If somebody some farmer has harvested and kept it ready for sale, the crop got drenched and all these things. So this is one very interesting pattern that is emerging out. We need to see if it's going to sustain this year. With all these talks of El Nino glooming over there, how it is going to be this year is very interesting. But this is really kind of creating a very quick change in the crop pattern. See what happens if we get crop during Kharif, proper crop. In Rabi we'll get a little bit of crop, and the time lag between Kharif and Rabi harvest is like 3 to 4 months. Thereby, we somehow will be able to push the cart. Okay, but if it reverses, if Kharif doesn't happen, so then essentially we'll get crop this Rabi, and we'll have to wait till next Rabi. That's good 10 to 11 months. So this is a case of process. Now you can imagine the plight of farmers, for whom this is the only source of livelihood. This is one very significant development that everybody is kind of very closely monitoring. So this whole Rayalaseema region, Anantapur, Kurnool, Chittoor, these are all predominantly groundnut growing belts. But for about 3 months, there was acute shortage of groundnut from December to this February in these regions. Okay, so we are also kind of eagerly waiting what is going to happen this year. And if this pattern is going to continue, then we really need to look at alternatives for farmers also.
Absolutely. Understood. And anything you'd like to share about the millets, the millet part of it? Any trends, interesting things you're noticing?
Millets, interesting. See, that whole millet wave, it was which was there for about back 5-6 years back. That kind of gave a significant impetus for millets. And then I think this I don't call it a very significant pattern change, but yeah, good number of farmers have been taking up millets. But this current year, I mean, like this international year of millets, this has really created some sort of a boost, both in markets as well as farmer levels also. So this again, this has to sustain. It should not be that bad, which is just coming up because of this whole international year of millets all thing, and then next year nobody is taking care of millets again.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing those insights. And Lakshmi has a comment that please provide us with a list of your products. So how can she get all information about Swachha Kaadyam products?
Sure, I can share that our brochure with you. So
Yeah.
which you can, if you have, if you
could
have
share,
access to
yeah,
their mailing.
yeah. If you could share the link, Google link, if you have to the brochure or something.
Don't have Google link. I can share this
Okay, there's a file upload.
file
Option.
upload thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking out for that. If
Sure,
you can
sure.
help me with that, I'll, yeah.
Yeah. So just go to the chat box and you will find it at the bottom. There is a, let me just, maybe I'll have to make you the co-host 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made you the co-host. So you can just put it in the chat box. Then you'll
Yeah,
see.
sure.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Okay, so now I think we'll just take some questions while you upload that file. So
Yes.
we have a question from Rajendra. Is Swachha Kaadyam looking at getting organic certificate for the farmers?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We have recently signed an MOU with the Center for, signing of MOU is under process with Center for Sustainable Agriculture. We are starting with a group of 100 farmers, and probably by next year we'll be able to get at least 300 farmers certified.
Wow.
The process is under.
Very nice. Yeah, so while you upload the file here on the chat, if anyone else would like to ask Satish any question about Swachha Kaadyam, you can just unmute yourself or use the chat box.
Yeah, thank you, Sukada and Satish. Great to kind of meet you back again here. It's a very interesting experience that you've shared. So, just like to understand, so in terms of the year ahead and the next 4-5 years ahead, how do you see, Swachha Kaadyam going ahead? What are the kind of new product lines you're looking at? What are your expansion plans? I'd be interested to know that.
As far as the base products are concerned, we are kind of more or less, we are into everything, though in small this thing. But our focus for the next 2-3 years will be on value addition. So we have already started working on that, and we have recently added around 20 to 25 products. So which we are expecting to release, say in 2 months' time, once we close all our statutory requirements. We'll be able to release all these products. So see, our intention is, our vision or what dream, what you can say, is to reach out to 6,000 farmers in this region by 2026, which is really ambitious, but that's what we really want to do, because as far as the market status is concerned, we are heavily undersupplied. So there's huge market. We can easily, at any given instance, we can easily triple our production and still come out safely. Okay, there is market. Market is actually looking for the players who can supply that proper products. Okay, so in the name of organic, in the name of natural, in the name of millets, there's a lot of stuff that is coming into the market about which nobody has any. Okay, so we have market. All that we need to do is we need to ensure that we reach out to these many farmers, which of course is directly dependent on the funds available to us. Working capital is that key factor. So if we are able to reach out to those 5,000 to 6,000 farmers, if not 6,000, let us say 50% of our goal, okay, which is 3,000. And if we are able to make sure that the proper market linkages are established, then we would like to focus on the input aspect. So this is how we are kind of looking at kind of in a phase-wise manner. So for the next 2 years, our focus will be largely reaching out to D2C channels. We need to establish, kind of carve out at least 20 to 25% of our portfolio for D2C, and thereby improvise on the margins. Simultaneously make sure that good number of value-added products come out of our unit.
Great. So Rajendra has one more question for you, Satish. What are the
Yeah.
crop insurance options you're looking out for your farmers, and what is the state government support in this?
Yes. So we had this, several farmers came to us for this particular service. So though we did not kind of directly got into the crop insurance thing, we tried to facilitate, we tried to kind of reach out to government, concerned crop insurance authorities, but somehow we really could not do it on a positive this thing. See, there are several gray areas in this whole insurance, the way they define a calamity in itself. Okay. And in some cases, several farmers not even know that for whatever has happened to them, okay, is covered under the ambit of the insurance, whatever government insurance that they have. Okay. So we thought of kind of educating farmers on the insurance aspect first with convergences. We really don't want to kind of get into the product per se, but the convergences is what we are looking for. I think this Kharif, I'm quite sure many farmers would require that. So we started working on that. Hopefully, we try to do this. The scheduling of these training programs, and say if possible, we also reached out to the local authorities concerned, and till now we got that positive response. So we are planning of that July to August and September. So where we can kind of check out some action plan and help farmers if they don't have an insurance this thing. If at all they already have, helping them in availing of in case of the requirement.
Understood. Yes. Sorry,
the brochure has
yes,
been
I was
shared.
just saying that. Yes. So Lakshmi and other people who want to check out Swachha Kaadyam products, the brochure is in the chat box, so you can download the PDF from there. Next question, Satish, is from Lokesh. Government also provides credit to farmers. Does it help in your case?
In our case,
yeah.
No. See, our credit is largely about the post-harvest credit. Okay, so we don't have anything to do with the government credit if it's going to the farmers.
Got it. Anyone else who has a question for Satish or around Swachha Kaadyam, please go ahead and ask. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can go next. Hi, Satish. I'd like to know more about your inputs to the farmers, like seeds, pesticides, or organic pesticides that you provide to the farmers.
Okay. No, we are not yet into the inputs this thing. So what we are focusing is the organic certification part. So many of these farmers have been doing organic farming for quite some time. So we are trying to get the certification done, through which there are ABC things that we need to do as part of this whole organic certification that we would take up. But otherwise, we are not into the input part of it.
Understood. So if people who are on the call want to help Swachha Kaadyam, Satish, so what is the best way for them to help Swachha Kaadyam apart from, being social investors through Rangde? How can they spread the word about your products? How can we help?
Yeah, buy our products. It's obviously the first thing that they can do. And of course, spread the word about the products. So okay. You have already taken out the social investing part. So yeah, then the market linkage is the best thing that they can certainly help.
Absolutely. Got it. And any other aspect of your work you would like to talk about, Satish, before we wrap up this session? Anything else you would like to share with all of us?
Is it the organization level or
anything about Swachha Kaadyam or the farmers or the work you're doing? Anything you'd like to share that we might have not covered?
Okay. I think we largely covered this thing. Yeah. So there's one part which I think I didn't speak about. So besides procuring from farmers, we also source produce from farmer producer organizations. Okay. It could be cooperatives or the producer companies. So if we look at the total portfolio, So for the current financial year, 80% of our produce has come from farmers, and the remaining 20 has come from the producer collectives. Okay, which means again, whatever the produce that we are purchasing. Okay, so the market proceeds would reach out to farmers indirectly in this case. So that's one thing, and we are also willing to collaborate with like-minded social enterprises. So that locally we do. There are two more organizations who are also in the same sector. Okay, so rather looking at them as competition, we kind of work on co-optation. So largely they procure some of our produce, they're into some sort of service. Sometimes they could use up our processing space. Okay, so those collaborations are also on. But FPC is a very important collaboration. Like so in Anantapur, RTT is one of the major NGOs that's doing some incredible work. So we have an MOU with their producer companies last year, through which for the first time FPC's also got an institutional buyer. So we sourced around 120 tons of groundnut from them, from which their business also kind of got into active mode. It's a kind of spillover. I don't say there's anything we have done. It's a spillover of it rather. But yes, because as I said, for this whole thing to kind of keep on moving, we need the other collaborations as well. This is not that easy journey to kind of go on a solo walk. So FPCs are kind of the next partners whom we look at.
Great. So I think I have one more question, but before that, I will ask a question on behalf of Sita. She is asking, how does a consumer know if the organic certification from any supplier is genuine?
Okay. So see, for that, actually, there is this whole audit process that your third-party certification agencies conduct, and we can actually kind of log on to their website, or you can seek data from them. There is a concept called the transfer certificate, okay, which you can ask for. But I'm really not sure how many consumers would be of interest for that 1 kilogram or 2 kilograms of groundnut you buy. You go back to them and check the data. But if at all you want to do, you have that right. You can happily do that. So for this consumer kind of convenience, what we have been doing is rather, so of course, once the certification comes in, the logo, the certified logo will be there. Besides that, for every batch, what we do is we get our produce lab tested from accredited agencies. NCML is our testing partner. So we have made provisions for QR code on the back of all our products, retail packaging. So where consumers can directly scan the code and look at the lab report, which personally I feel is more authentic than any certificate, to be honest.
That's very nice. And I think one aspect we didn't touch upon, Satish, is, in our work with Swachha Kaadyam, in the Rangde Swachha Kaadyam partnership, out of the 147 farmers that we worked with, I think 26% are women. So
yes.
What would you like to share about the share of women farmers and increasing, decreasing? What are the trends you're seeing from the lens of gender?
Yeah. So lastly, this last 3 seasons, the trend is certainly increasing. So in the first season, when we through Rangde, when we transacted with 60 farmers, I think there were hardly 8 to 9 women. Then in the second season, the percentage went up, and third season, it even went higher. So we ideally want it to be more than 50. But I'm really not sure if that's going to happen. But I'm happy that it's on a higher side. But to be honest, we have very little control on that, unless we emphasize that the transaction should happen in the name of women head of that household. So that is something we can do, but there will be kind of social replications that we need to look at. So that's why we ensure that most of the women who work in our processing unit, most of the daily wage laborers who work in our processing unit, they will be women. Even the machineries will be run by women, and they will be paid equally as men. If a male is running a machine, he would be paid X amount. And if a woman is running the same mission, she would also get the same amount. So that's something we have a complete control on, and we ensure that this good, I mean, like most of it is women, okay, except for our founders. So otherwise, this whole space is populated with women. We are happy for that. But in terms of farmers, it has reached 26%. I'm hoping it would go up to 30 this season. But after that, I really need to see. So that's something, I mean, like it's a good idea. In case of certification, we could really take that up. We can link this gender aspect with certification. Probably I'll work out on that.
Wonderful. That's very encouraging, both that, the wages are the same when they work for you. And of course, that you have a healthy percentage at the moment of women farmers. So I think last question, and then we'll wrap up this session, is from Arun. What geographies are you currently selling in?
Okay. So we have kind of two markets. Okay. So one is the organic market and the other one is smaller one, but the conventional market. So for the conventional market, we look at the local stores, even organic, some of our organic products we also place, but it's not huge traction over here. But otherwise, the conventional markets, we cover Anantapur, of course, Kurnool, little bit of Tirupati. Okay, this is for conventional markets. For organic markets, I think we have presence in significant presence in Telangana, Karnataka, Andhra, kind of small step here and there in Tamil Nadu, and a small market in Bombay. So these are the geographies that where we are currently marketing our products.
Great. And that was a very, very insightful session with you, Satish, and it was wonderful knowing about Swachha Kaadyam's work. And for everybody who's interested, please do make sure that you download the brochure of Swachha Kaadyam products that he's uploaded, and you can get in touch with him. He's quite active on LinkedIn, so you can get in touch with him if you have any suggestions, if you want to help out. And thank you everybody for joining this Q&A session today. It was wonderful to have you on this Friday evening at the end of this financial year. And we wish Swachha Kaadyam all the best, and we wish for the Swachha Kaadyam and the partnership to go on and scale newer heights. Thank you so much for joining us, and please stay tuned for the next Q&A session that we will announce on our social media very soon. Once again, thanks a lot, Satish, for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Swachha. I just want to have one final word, particularly with Rangde, now that Rajendra has also joined. So I would really like to thank Rangde, because without this partnership, I kind of really, this is not just because I'm on a session with Rangde, but honestly, because given the figures, anybody can easily understand. So what is the contribution of Rangde to our business model, and the way you have kind of customized the product for us on a daily basis. I kind of reach out to Rajendra saying that, see, this, I mean, like, we need this change or we need that change, and the swiftness with which your team responds is something really wonderful. So I'd like to really thank the entire team of Rangde for being with us and for supporting our farmers. As I said, so that even the small help that you extend to us, it in either the direct way or indirect way will reach out to the farmers over here. So I really want this partnership to flourish and sustain for longer times, for the benefit of farmers. So thanks a lot, and I would like to thank everyone who has taken out their time and joined, and kind of being very patient listeners to all that I've been speaking. Thanks a lot. Thank you. You are on mute.
Yes, sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us, and see you next time. Thank you.